welcome to France. On my first full day, I took a road trip about 3 hours southwest of Paris to the Loire Valley. While the valley is full of vineyards and picturesque towns, it is best known for being home to over 300 châteaux, representing hundreds of years of French history, the largest of which is the Château de Chambord. The Château de Chambord was constructed from 1519 to 1547 to serve as a hunting lodge for King Francis I. This humble hunting lodge features 440 rooms, 282 fireplaces, a partial moat, and is surrounded by a 13,000-acre private wooded park. For hunting, of course. Not far down the Loire River from the Château de Chambord is the village of Blois. This is the perfect place to grab a meal in between visiting Châteaux. The second destination of the day was the Château de Chenonceaux. This unique castle spans the River Cher, which is a tributary of the Loire River. My favorite historical anecdote of the entire France trip was actually about this chateau. After varied ownership, King Henry II offered the chateau as a gift to his mistress Diane. Diane fell in love with the castle and oversaw the planting of extensive gardens and trees. When Henry II died, though, his widow and Queen Regent Catherine de' Medici took the Château de Chenonceaux as her own favorite residence, forcing Mistress Diane out. Of course, Catherine took the liberty to redo the entire chateau to her liking, including the gardens. On my second day, I was off to explore an entirely different region of the country, Champagne. As you might have guessed, the sparkling white wine, known as champagne, was named after this countryside. In fact, all wines using the name champagne must be made entirely of grapes grown in this region. My first stop was the city of Reims to visit Notre-Dame de Reims. This cathedral is significant for being the traditional location for the coronation of French kings. It is also where, in 1429, Joan of Arc knelt before the newly coronated King Charles VII and proclaimed she had accomplished what God commanded her to do: reclaim Orléans for the French and oversee Charles VII's coronation. After a bite to eat in Rheims, I was off to the first of 2 wineries for the day, Ayala in the town of Aix. This mid-sized Maison de Champagne pioneered dry champagne in the 1860s, a time when the drink was sweeter and treated as more of a dessert. I toured the Ayala facilities, including a maze of cellars deep underground, where soon-to-be champagne was fermenting in the cool darkness. After lunch, it was off to a smaller family operation, Maison Joseph Deruet. Here, they use a large oak press to extract the juice from their grapes, the same way they've been doing it since 1888. Maison Deruet is located in the same ville where Monk Dom Perignon is laid to rest. He revolutionized the production of champagne in the late 17th and early 18th centuries. The remainder of my France trip was spent around Paris, where I first headed to the iconic Louvre Museum. Among some other lesser-known works, I got to see my favorite painting, The Coronation of Napoleon by Jacques-Louis David. Later that day, I visited the Jardin de Luxembourg, a great place to spend a sunny afternoon. Day 4 was Versailles Day. I'll spare you a history lesson on this one and just say that my tour guide told me to never return to the destination, as the light crowds and 5-minute queue time of July 2021 was the most tolerable Versailles experience I'd likely ever get. My tour included bicycling and picnicking around the palace grounds, which I highly recommend. Links to all the tours I took on this trip will be in the description box below. On day 5, I met up with a friend to explore the neighborhood of Montmartre. This lively art and food-filled district is popular with tourists, but still worth a visit in my opinion. From the Sacré-Cœur Basilica, you get an incredible view of the city. final day in France, I visited the Eiffel Tower, suitcase in tow, before heading off to the airport. And that is a wrap on my jam-packed first trip to France.